Welcome to Modern Day Abigail's, a women's outreach of Calvary Chapel, Pearland. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." So let's listen to God's Word, where everyday lives transform and where we can become the women God created us to be.
Shame and embarrassment over what you've done can isolate you so quickly. It is incredibly unhealthy to our mental state because our enemy, the devil, he likes to keep us isolated where no one can reach us. And that's where he had this woman. But Jesus already knew. He knew her and her shame and exactly where she was. She was at the well. That's one thing about Jesus, because he meets us right where we are. He didn't send for her. He sat at the very spot he knew she would be so he could speak life and truth deep into her soul. And that's exactly what he does with us. What we do with that life-changing information is up to us.
Is this where we go into fear, or do you want to do that later?
That is the perfect spot for that later.
Okay.
And yes, I don't want to forget about that.
Okay.
Okay. So this woman, that the things that she went through, I speak from experiences. The choices that I made concerning my marriage and separation were off the charts unhealthy. I had a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And lots of alcohol and lots of sleeping pills. But you know what? The Lord met me right where I was. He reminded me that, yes, I am going through this traumatic thing, but he's there. He's going through it with me. He was my crutch. And he showed me he could be that he could be my crutch, and I didn't need anything else to lean on. I didn't need my alcohol. I didn't need my medication. I didn't need my sleeping pills, because my life was so bad at the time that it was not uncommon, and this is a sad reality, but it was not uncommon for me to wake up and by 9 a.m. I was taking another sleeping pill because I was already done with the day. I was already done with the day, and because it was already a day mess and I just couldn't handle anymore by 9 a.m.
Let me add to that, because there are some other unhealthy habits that people do when they're not drinking, and I think this is what I went through, because most of my mess, I was before 21. I couldn't
go out and get you a bottle of wine?
I couldn't go drinking. I couldn't afford to drink, and I couldn't go to drink, and there was no way I could go get pills. And
your dad would never have let you smoke.
No, my mom would have been. I'm not sure which one would have been first. Both of them would have been like, well, I had asthma. I would have done it to myself. So, but what I would do is I had become later on, as this mounted up and the anger was there, I became what I guess you would call a cutter, but I cut myself with my fingernails. And it's not like I use scissors or a knife or whatever, but there are people who will cut themselves in the same manner. That is their escape instead of drugs and alcohol. And I have a scar on my arm from where I scratched myself to the point where I left scars on my arm, because that's how I dealt with my trying to get away from reality.
Like relieve some of your
aggression and anger
on yourself.
Yeah, so because I couldn't get drunk, I couldn't go to sleep. So I'd have this built-up anger. What am I going to do with it? Because I wasn't going to hurt somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I'd turn it out on myself, and I'd hurt myself. That's that scar right there.
Oh, gosh, that's long.
Yeah.
So instead of like putting your fist through the wall, which you would have gotten some serious trouble from your parents, you put your fingers through your own skin.
And what it is you can wear long sleeves and nobody notices.
Interesting.
So you can hide it.
Now, that is one thing I am not up to par on. I did not do that.
I did not realize I was that until later on. And I started hearing more about it. And I'm like, well, basically, that's what I was. I just hid it with my fingernails, and I would hide it with my shirts.
Interesting.
And I had done it quite a few times. I didn't scar myself until I had really started walking with the Lord. And I did it again. And I scarred. That's when I got the scar. And the Lord's like, that's to remind you.
Yep.
And I haven't done it since. Sometimes I'll go grab my arm and then I'll go, no, Anna, no, this is not how you handle it. You pray.
Yes.
And then I'll stop.
See? Now he's your crutch.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I couldn't do it without him.
Listen, there's so many things, and you each have your own thing,
Yes.
and maybe you've got maybe you're doing something that we didn't do, or maybe you're doing all of it.
Right.
You know, it all depends on you and what you're going through and what you do to release some of the mental mess that you're going through, because our minds just aren't made to handle it. But you know what? We don't need a pill. We don't need I'm not dogging medication, but there are some things that we do, like me. If I could have gotten my hands on some sort of prescription meds, I probably would have been taking those too. But I mean, I was cheap and frugal, so I just went to the drugstore and whatever I could get my hands on there.
Hey, I didn't know you could get high off of ibuprofen and Tylenol until somebody told me.
Huh? I didn't know that either.
It was my own son. He had gone through a small little thing when he asked me for extra ibuprofen, I didn't think anything about it because he always got headaches in the springtime because of allergies. And then later on, he admitted it. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you can do that on 4 ibuprofens? Oh, it also showed that he didn't really have much in his system because...
I mean, I take 4 ibuprofen.
But apparently, if you don't take much of it, it wasn't that it did that. I think it kind of calmed him.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that. So there's other things that people take that will work on them that may not work on somebody else. So please don't think that you're hearing our list and say, well, I don't fit in that. No, it could be Captain Crunch cereal for all we know.
Yeah, you got your own list.
Yeah.
It could be a shopping addiction. We're going to talk about all that later, too.
Sorry.
We're not limited to just these handful of things that we've just mentioned. Listen, there's all kinds of things out there, and people get real creative when they're experiencing trauma.
And they're trying to forget it and try to hide.
Trying to numb your pain.
I think that's why I think reading is great. Reading is fabulous. But I think there's a lot of people who read to escape. And because they're trying to avoid something. And if I can go into a book and be somebody else, then I don't have to face my reality.
Yeah. Well, look at those. What are they? They're
Harlequin romances? Yeah, exactly. That's one of them. That's an example.
Popular when I was young.
Right. I still think they are because you see them everywhere.
Oh, do you? I don't pay attention.
Well, I go to used books. I used to go to used bookstores to get books, but now I do audiobooks.
I mean, you know.
But I know I see a lot of people. I'll hear people, I got this many books. I'm doing this many books. And I'm like, okay, do you really have that much time on your hands, or are you trying to escape? And hey, if you have that much time on your hands and you can read a good story, go for it. That is super fabulous. But if you're using it to escape, then that's a different problem that you need to discuss.
Yep. Again, that's a crutch.
Exactly.
Crutches come in many forms and many names.
Yes.
And like I just said, some of us get real creative. And I was not creative, but some of us get real creative.
Right. And the thing is, you have to be careful on some of those because they give you an expectation that's not real. So you go into your book world, or you go into this world, or you do this.
And any TV show,
too. And TV shows. Yeah, binge watching a TV show. Same thing. Oh, I'm in this different world. Then you start realizing reality's not like that, and you start getting disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. Or looking at your husband going, why aren't you like him?
Right.
Well, first of all, that person doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an actor. Okay. All right. So let's break this woman down a little bit. We're going to break down the woman who has no name. Right now, she's called ashamed, guilt-ridden, embarrassed, promiscuous, broken, ruined, harlot, damaged, and hopeless. But her name is about to change. So her entire story is wrapped up in various types of love. We see her love for men, her unlove for herself, and her love for her Messiah that she just encountered. Okay, so what I want to talk about, the unhealthy love that she has engulfed herself in, because it is this kind of love that is so rampant today. I mean, do we have 6 husbands? Probably not, but we certainly are all about a no commitment type of relationship, and which is what she was in, clearly no commitment, and we can jump in and out and around and as much as we please, and if it makes us feel good and happy. And in this day and age, you are considered, and I've heard people say this, you are considered outdated if you think or believe otherwise.
I like vintage.
Huh?
I like vintage.
I like commitment.
I like commitment a lot.
But this day and age, it's not about the commitment. It's about the pleasing myself.
Yeah, what do I want?
What do I want?
All about me.
Yeah. And so just off the top of my head, I'd say things involved in her daily love life were probably lust, unwed sex. Right now, she wasn't married.
AKA fornication.
Yep. No commitment. She didn't have any self-worth, not caring about what is right and wrong, and certainly no awareness of any sort of red flags. And that's one of the things. Either she didn't know about red flags, or she completely ignored them, but there were certainly red flags. So let's break down a few things that we might want to be aware of in our own mess that we call life, so that we can heal if we aren't aware, because we can't. If we don't know about it, or somebody doesn't bring it to our attention, and sometimes it's the Lord, sometimes He sends other people, then we can't heal from what we're not recognizing.
Right. You can't fix it if you don't know it's broken.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. That's exactly right. Okay.
Say that at work all the time. I was like, look, y'all, we can't fix it. If we don't know it's broken, we can't fix it. You got to tell us.
Right. Yeah, don't leave me in the dark.
Yeah, don't hide it.
Okay, so the first thing on our agenda today is we're going to talk about red flags. And for those who don't know what a red flag is, it's that hair on the back of your neck when you're about to make a bad decision, or second guessing yourself on something that just doesn't seem right. We listen to that voice inside of our head most of the time because we are most often than not about to make a decision that we think would just be the best time, the best fun. We don't want to listen to that voice telling us, no, don't do it.
Well, there's two voices. Sometimes it's the Lord, sometimes it's the enemy.
That's right, but we don't we can't
recognize which one's which.
Yeah,
they sound the same.
Sometimes we'd be like, oh, I really want to do that. Okay, screw it, I'm doing it.
Right,
I'm doing it.
Right.
I don't care. I'll suffer the consequences.
Yeah, I'll think about it later.
I've said that before. You know what? Forget it. I'll suffer the consequences. That's fine.
That's what happens with credit card debt. You think, oh, I'll get it paid off.
Oh, yeah. But you never do.
No. Well, you do.
Sometimes, but it takes forever. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what are red flags? Well, let's talk about what red flags are. If we can't recognize what we don't know. Okay. So, here's a few. Now, this is from the point of view of a woman with a man. Okay. Because we're talking to women. I know that men listen, but okay. Is he verbally degrading? That's a red flag.
Are you verbally degrading? Is the woman verbally degrading?
Oh, yes.
You pick your own red flag.
Right. This goes both ways, right? Okay. Goes both ways. Okay. But I use the word he, but a she could certainly go in there.
But I'm saying is you could be the abuser and you don't even know it.
Oh, that's
you
exactly right.
You may not even understand you're the red flag that you need to recognize.
Yeah. So are these qualities in yourself? Good point, Anna. Are these qualities in yourself, not just in the person?
I had a few of these in me at one time.
Oh, listen, I fall in quite a few of these categories. Not now, but before. Yeah. Okay. So does he put you down? Does he have a wandering eye? These are all red flags.
You're right. We're not talking about an eye bounce. Men do look. They're very visual.
Women look.
Yeah, women look. Some women aren't typically as visually like the men, but women do look. But so there is a difference between a wandering eye and an eye bounce. If the guy looks over and then looks away, that's an eye bounce. Mm-hmm. Don't get all mad because he eye bounced. It's that's
chances are you've done it 5 times in the last hour yourself.
Yeah. But what she means by wandering eyes is constantly looking how you look. How does your whole facial demeanor? I saw that we were outside out of a restaurant, and it was Ray and I and another couple. And the way the guy walked by and looked at my friend, I got mad and angry.
She was a piece of meat.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, are you going to let him look at your wife like that? And he's like, He wasn't paying attention. He's like, what are you talking about? And by this time, that guy's like, I'm like, I noticed it, but that's a red flag right there.
Yeah, huge red flag. Okay. Have you caught him in little white lies? Does he do things and then make you think you misunderstood or you didn't really see what you saw? Does he guilt you into doing things you do not want to do?
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
So when I was making this list, I was thinking about my marriage and yours, Anna.
Yeah.
So we're both going to recognize things in here that we both went through.
Yeah.
Does he deflect when confronted and turn it back on you and off of him? Does he cheat? Does he abuse? Lots of forms in abuse. Yep. Verbal, mental, physical.
Emotional, sexual.
Yeah. And listen, these are all red flags. Okay. Does he isolate you from your friends and family? Does he constantly start fights over things that don't actually really exist? Does he help you keep addicted to something? Listen, this list is long. We could keep going. Because there are so many things that could fit in here, but you have got to start paying attention to your surroundings. This is just a small list of red flags. There's all kinds of red flags, things that are not okay, that are damaging, that are not normal. And each situation may have something completely different, but you've got to start paying attention.
Now, even if it's not a relationship you're in, it's just that you're somewhere else. You're at a party, you're at the store. Watch body language.
Yeah.
Watch for these things and how people approach you. You may not even be dating the person, but that person may have a red flag that you're like, don't walk to my car alone.
Yeah.
You might
pay attention.
Pay attention. Watch the body language. If you're feeling uncomfortable, find somebody to go with you to walk you to a car. Find you a security officer, unless the security officer has some really weird stuff about them. Then go find somebody else. Store manager.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to be paying attention. Learning red flags on a small scale is just as good as learning red flags on a large scale in any situation. It's when I started learning about red flags, it's okay, Anna. Her pup dog is just whining. It's okay.
It's just a big baby.
I know. It's fine. Listen, ladies, this is real life. This is how it is. Okay, so we have got to start making a mental list. And I know that our audience is geared towards women, but, no, that's not right. Our audience is geared. We have a female audience, but just like you said earlier, sometimes these tables are flipped. If you're a man and you're listening and you've got a wife or a girlfriend that is portraying these things, then you need to start paying attention as well.
If you're the woman and the Lord's starting to show things about yourself, you need to really ask the Lord, is this what I'm doing? Am I this person? And what do I need to do to change?
Yep. Especially if you're in an abusive relationship, start paying attention. These are red flags.
Right. Because if you've been in one abusive relationship, until you get healed, you're going to go to another one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay. Next topic.
Okay.
Patterns.
Hey, I know. I saw that. I mean, what is wrong with having a favorite way to load my dishwasher?
Well, okay. Listen.
Really?
No. This was a good thing. Oh. There's nothing wrong with loading your dishwasher.
Well, we haven't talked.
And what she's talking about is this. Okay, so in the real world, we have what I call patterns. We all have a pattern. So what are we talking about is that I lost my train of thought. Okay, so
patterns, dishwasher.
Oh, I know.
routine.
I know. You know what? You saying dishwasher completely threw me off because
so
I thought it was the next sentence, but it is not. It's way down the list.
Wait, really? Oh, I thought you was where you were.
No. I've got a whole other thing going on here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's totally fine. Okay, so one thing that she had a pattern as well. So we're going to learn about this because we have patterns, okay? Patterns are multifaceted. She was multifaceted. So let's get it. Let's talk about okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the things that we do in our life that are the same. So we have a favorite, like, for instance, we have a favorite way that we load our dishwasher. Okay, we have a pattern.
Yes.
This is how we load our dishwasher. We don't like anybody touching our dishes. We're going to load our dishwasher the way we want to load our dishwasher. Most of us don't even like our husband or our children loading our dishwasher because they don't do it right. When in reality, they do it just fine.
And if you're going to change it because they were trying to help, make sure they're out of the room. Don't let them know you did.
Absolutely.
Or
And
just
then as
shut
soon
the
as
door,
you
close your
change
eyes.
it, start it so they can't open it back up and see that you changed.
Don't let them know you changed it. That's not nice.
So, we may have a favorite routine of getting ready in the morning. That's a pattern. Okay. We may have a favorite way that we like to grocery shop. I like to get out of the grocery shop. Anna, you like to walk the aisles and you like to look at everything and you like to read all the ingredients.
I have to read the ingredients. Yes.
Yeah. So that's your pattern. Your grocery shopping pattern is different than mine. If I'm in the store for more than 15 minutes, I'm irritated.
Heck, that's my relaxed time, man. Go down the aisle, check out the labels.
No, in and out. I clothes shop the same way. I only go when I specifically am looking for something, and I don't like to go with people.
Well, and then if you go with me, you have to shove me in the door because if I walk in and I don't like the layout, I'm turning around walking out.
Yes, and then I have to grab your arm, and we have to turn around and go back in the store.
Now, that's my shopping idea. I'm like, if I'm going to a clothing store, I better be in and out in 15 minutes, man.
Unless you're at a thrift store, which I don't like going to.
Only if I go with my sister-in-law.
Yeah, well, she's fun to shop with.
Or there's a couple... I'll go with Miss Juanita too.
Oh, yes. Okay. So,
but I won't go by myself because that ain't happening. Just because I don't like shopping. If I'm going to go get clothes, I'm not going to go by myself.
If I am on a mission, I go by myself. If I'm leisure, I take friends. Okay.
I don't have mission clothes. Okay, sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. If I'm on a mission to find something, not necessarily clothes.
Oh, okay.
So we may have like a favorite shoe store that we have to shop at that we don't want to go anywhere else, or like maybe an Amazon addiction. I have a pattern of being an Amazon. I have an Amazon addiction. Okay, that's my pattern. That's my shopping pattern. I have an Amazon addiction. Okay.
Is it really shopping if it's on Amazon?
Yes.
It's more like picking and choosing.
Anna.
I'm just saying.
I don't have to go in.
I know.
And I don't like to go in. Okay. We also, in our patterns, we have a favorite type of man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She had a favorite type too. The wrong type. But she did. She had a favorite type.
They probably all look similar.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk about that too. Okay, so she didn't pay attention to any red flags. She was probably focused on one thing that caught her attention in each guy. Was it money? Okay, so when we have a type of guy that we like, okay, and we normally stick with that type of guy.
Right. I'm just reading your next sentence. That's
okay.
All. That's why I tilted my head.
Was it money? Something's wrong with my mic. Okay. Was it? Back then, they had cattle and land. That was their big thing.
Man, that guy's so hot because he's got that Black Angus cow over there instead of the Jersey.
You don't even know, Anna. That might be right. Listen,
look.
The more cattle they had, the richer they were. Okay,
maybe, but
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I don't think they picked it based on the type of cow.
Okay, well, you're not going to like this. Was he? Was it the sexy way he wrapped his turban? Did she like that? Listen, they wore those back then. I don't even know if I spelled it right. Okay.
I don't think Jesus wore one, but okay.
I don't know about that, but I know that that's one thing that they did wear. Okay. Was he tall, dark, and handsome in his looks? Okay. Did he have great eyes? Okay. We all go for the same type of thing. Okay. Listen, don't Listen, Anna, when we have a men addiction, you did not, I did. When we have a man addiction, we go for the same type of man, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
I'm with you here.
Okay, I don't think you are. You're shaking your
No, I'm just laughing because I'm like, did we switch from the woman at the well to a woman today?
No.
Because
we're talking about what attracts us. What is our pattern in men?
right.
Okay, listen.
But you started out with the woman at the well with favorite type of, cattle, and then you go to tat it up, and I'm like,
Okay, I know, but there's a reason because I am transitioning.
oh, you're
to
transitioning.
us.
Okay.
It's a transition piece.
Okay, all right, I'm cool.
And
Okay, I'm good.
come
with
on now.
Okay, now we're with you.
Okay, are you sure?
I am now.
Okay, listen. Okay, so let's get back to our list, Anna. Okay, does he have great eyes? Was he all tatted up? There's your tatted. Was he a bad boy type? I had to have a bad boy type. Did he have a Harley? Did he drive a Porsche?
Maybe it's big old trucks that are jacked up with big wheels.
Maybe. Was he rich with a great job? Oh, was he married? And you didn't have to have a commitment. I knew a girl who dated only married men because there was no commitment and they spent tons of money on her.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Was he a charming, sweet talker? Was he in a bad marriage that needed saving?
Aww.
He's so unhappy in his marriage. I just need to be there for him. I hear that a lot. Okay. Or did he have a dark, messed up past just like you? Mm-hmm. Was he a drinker in a party or just like you? Listen, you can name your poison, name your pattern. It doesn't matter. The type of men that we are attracted to is the type of men that we gravitate toward. All of my men were the same. They just had a different name.
Right.
Okay. And we have to start recognizing our patterns. Patterns come in many, many, many forms. And they go hand in hand with red flags.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for letting us share our tools to become the women God created us to be. If we encouraged you today, visit us at moderndayabigails.com. Remember, you are loved, cherished, and prayed over.